Shut up and sit down.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rips, and of course, I'm your host, Mr. Main Event himself, the often imitated, never duplicated Superstar Tim Vicious, and gonna go over Raw this week. Was in Boston, Massachusetts. Always do love a good Boston crowd, but you know, before we get into that big breaking news, gotta go over first and foremost literally moments before we went to go and hit record for the show. Josh Barnett officially announced. Now, if you don't know who Josh Barnett is, and I'm saying this and I'm not saying it in an insultive way, if you do not know who Josh Barnett is, do yourself a favor. You're either watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify, so you got access to the internet. Take a moment, go on Google, type in Josh Barnett, enter, and educate yourself, folks. He has officially announced that the Creed brothers are going to be at the next Bloodsport show he is promoting. So, to which all I can say is, hey Siri, insert JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reaction gif. Oh my god! Yeah, because wow. Honestly, all I can really say is wow. Because this is a big deal. You know, aside from the fact that Shayna Baszler is also returning to Bloodsport, and I'm not trying to play spoiler here, and I'm sorry if this does spoil for some folks, but Charlie Dempsey was shown at making a run-in at some TNA tapings coming up relatively soon. So, wow. That's all I'm saying. Wow. It's weird seeing WWE being so open to outside companies, considering for so long they isolated themselves and made themselves their own private little area in the multiverse of wrestling, so to say. And now all of a sudden, poof, the floodgates the doors are open, and hey, they're bouncing around here, there, and everywhere. You know? So, with that said, also, folks, like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, first and foremost, we did break 300. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed. You have nothing but my utmost thanks for that. Unfortunately, no one showed me that they did. So I can't go out of my way to send you a Vicious Rants shirt. So what we're going to do now is we're going to up the ante. Folks, I started this contest, and within 2 weeks, we jumped to 300. And we were at maybe 280 something. Now let's see if we can double those numbers. Hell, not even double, triple, even quadruple even. Let's just say, if we can hit 500, 500, before SummerSlam. Okay, before SummerSlam. And SummerSlam is August 3rd, and today is July 1st. Actually, no, today is the July 2nd. I got my days confused. I'm sorry. So, we got just over a month. If we can break 500, if we can hit 500, subscribe to the channel. After you hit subscribe, take a snapshot. Then tag me on Twitter @TimVicious and show that snapshot. I will hold on to that. And if we break 500, we hit 500 or more, I will pick a random person that subscribed and then send out a piece of merch to them. Out of my own personal pocket. So you're entering a free contest. You're entering a free contest where you can get a shirt, and you also get to enjoy all the rants and ramblings. You get to enjoy all the rants and ramblings of this show. You get to enjoy all the chats that I've been putting out there, and not to sound, like I'm stroking my own ego, but I've had some pretty interesting cats on the show. I've had some really great conversations with a lot of cool dudes. Got some really good ones lined up, sitting in the can, just waiting to come out. And, folks, we are now dabbling into vicious words of wisdom where I am giving you all little bits of insight into what goes on inside this big, beautiful, wonderful mind of mine. So, yeah, by all means, subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, thank you for taking the time to listen to this on Spotify. I do appreciate it. Subscribe on there as well. Leave us a 5-star review if you feel we deserve it. So now that we've gone over all that news, basically talking about the show itself, now let's switch gears and talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind and the big highlights from last week's SmackDown. Excuse me. Throat got a little dry doing all that work, doing all that reporting for the show. The big highlights from last week's SmackDown. Show started out with Solo and the Bloodline coming out, pulling into the arena, and then as they're walking out, they get just past the entryway and are on the entrance ramp. Next thing you know, they show on the Tron. Team Cody, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens come in, pulling in. And they're all looking like, all right, yeah, you ready to do this, boys? All right, let's go kick some ass. Next thing you know, they pull in. Big fight ensues. Now, should note also, Paul Heyman was there waiting for the Bloodline, and he asked Solo, where's Jacob Fatu? And he said, he's not here. So, it's a 3-on-3 fight. So, they're going at it, and it eventually leads to up to the ring. Babyfaces take over the ring. Cody winds up saying, no. We're here. We're in Madison Square Garden. I had a whole bunch of different plans lined up for tonight. But no, we are not doing this. So boys, get your asses in here. We're going to finish this once and for all. Basically, and I'm paraphrasing all this, mind you. And then next thing you know, Nick Aldis like, no. We are not doing this. You three need to leave now. So, and from a general manager perspective, I get why Aldis is doing that, because he's basically saying, no, we're not going to do this. You guys got a 6-man tag match lined up coming up at Money in the Bank, so we're going to do that. I'm preserving that match. So, yeah. We'll get to the Bloodlines fallout in a bit. But we had a women's Money in the Bank qualifying match. Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton versus Candice LeRae. Good enough match. I thought it was pretty decent. Tiffany got the win, pinning Candice, but man, I gotta tell you, I'm torn now. I'm torn. I am legitimately torn because I don't know who I want to win now. Do I want Tiffany to win? Or do I want Chelsea Green to win? I am just so torn. I don't know who to pick. But either way, then we had a men's qualifying in the bank ladder match. We had the big megastar, who everybody knows his name, L.A. Knight. Yeah, dummy. Yeah, let me talk to you. Going up against the walking douche nozzle himself, Logan Paul, versus Santos Escobar. And the smart money would have been on Santos because, like I've been saying for the past, like I said, all last week actually, the unpredictability of having, well, I didn't expect this one or that one to win, again, came into effect. We all thought, well, it's going to be Santos because they're going to have, because Knight and Paul are going to be so focused on fighting each other, they're going to be too busy trying to focus on getting a win. Was not the case. L.A. Knight got the win. Yeah. So, let me talk to you. Did the right man win that match? Yeah. Is L.A. Knight going to get a huge ovation at Money in the Bank? Yeah. Do I think L.A. Knight is going to win Money in the Bank? Nah! Because you see, this is what I think is going to happen. You're going to see the megastar climbing up that ladder. You're going to see him reaching for that briefcase. And just as he gets it, what do you think's going to happen? You're going to see that walking goof Logan Paul coming out, taking that right out of his hands. And then there's only going to be one way to settle this. And that's at SummerSlam for that coveted United States champion. For that United States championship. And then at the end of the night at SummerSlam, you're going to hear the words, "a new United States champion." And it's going to be the megastar. Everybody knows his name. L.A. Knight. Yeah! And that is not an insult. That is just a fact of life. Yeah. Alright, that was my best LA Knight impression I could do. I'm sorry. It's been a long day for me, folks. So, we also had a women's Money in the Bank ladder match as well. We had Indy Hartwell going against Blair Davenport, going against Naomi. Now, this was actually Blair's first match really on SmackDown, and alright, I mean, I may not be her biggest fan, but I give credit where credit's due. She's a hell of a worker, and she knows on how to go in the ring. So, you know, good on her. Naomi got the win. I do not think she is going to win the match, though. That's just me personally thinking out loud. You know? But, yeah. Now we come to the closing segment of SmackDown. Excuse me. And, well, it was a hell of a one because Solo came out with all the bloodline, and then Solo called for Jacob Fatu to come out. Jacob came on out, much to Paul's surprise, like, wait, what? What? You said he wasn't here. How can he be here if you said he wasn't here? What? And then Solo has everyone acknowledge him. And not just the crowd, but then my right-hand man, Tama Tonga, acknowledge me. I acknowledge you, my tribal chief. Tangaloa, acknowledge me. My tribal chief, I acknowledge you. And should note also, Wildman. I believe that was what he dubbed Tangaloa. Something along those lines. Then he said, my enforcer, Jacob Fatu, acknowledge me. My tribal chief, I love you. And I acknowledge you. Then he went over to Paul Heyman. Wise man. Time to make a decision. Acknowledge me. And then he put his hand out and showed. He had the red leg. The ones that Roman always wore. Saying that he was the tribal chief. And Paul just, oh no! Solo, I love you. I love you. And I acknowledge you are not my tribal chief. And Solo just gets this look like, oh, so we chose violence. Very well then. And then, boom, pops him with the Samoan spike. Then Paul falls down, rolls out the ring, and then Solo then tells the boys to go and get him. And then Tonga and Loa, they go and boom, powerbomb Paul through the announce table. And the big thing that everyone's been going on about with this, that they powerbombed a 59-year-old man who is not a trained professional wrestler. So yeah, Paul wound up willingly taking that bump. And you know what? 10 gets you 20. Paul wound up going over to them. Now, this is what you guys need to do. I don't care that I'm not a trained athlete like you. But what you must do is powerbomb me. No different than you would anyone in the ring. And when you powerbomb me through that table, you must make sure that it is legitimate. Do not try to cradle me. Do not try to swaddle me like some young child. No, drive me into that table as if I was your sworn enemy. So that way it is more legitimate. Thank you, good sir. That's on how I imagine Paul pitched that to when the Bloodline got told, hey, you guys need to powerbomb Paul through the table. That's on how I imagine Paul suggested that Tama Tonga and Tonga Lao had to do it. But either way, that is it for the SmackDown Rewind. So with that said, let's get into this week's show. Raw Boston, I should say. I'm sorry. I'm already thinking a week ahead talking about Toronto. It starts out camera in the outside in the walkway leading to the seats, and what do we see? We see Jey Uso going, greeting the people, being a man of the people. And then just as he's about to walk through the crowd, yells in the camera, hey, Uso, play my music. And then we hear Jay's music, and then he comes down, goes through the crowd, yeet. Now, Michael Cole was yeeting out for it. Corey Graves, commentary tonight. Pat McAfee, for obvious circumstances, he wasn't there tonight. I get that. But either way, Jay's in there. He starts out the show. He's talking about on how he's going to win Money in the Bank. And honestly, I would honestly say the smart money is on Jay winning. I mean, they've been building Jay as the main event man. They've been building Jay as main event Jey Uso for several years now. And I can see him being the guy, And given all the names that are in Money in the Bank, and we'll get to the qualifying match, the last qualifying match in a moment, I can still see Jay. Excuse me. Now with that said, Jay's going on talking about on how he's going to win this, that, and the other. He's going to go through everyone. And then Chad Gable comes out. Gable, he's talking about on how, no, you see, I'm going to win. And if anything, I deserve to win. Especially after all I've been through. I had the Wyatts 6 try and kill me. Okay? And if anything, not only did I have that, I had my family leave me. And you should be careful, because last I checked, you stole the Wyatt's Fireflies. Jay, real quick, I told them they could have that, man. I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that beef. They can take the Fireflies, they can have the mosquitoes. Shoot, man, I ain't looking to get bit up from no bugs. Yeet. So, yeah. On a side note, yeet, greater than sign, what? I dare anyone to challenge otherwise. So, then, as Jay and Chad are going back and forth verbally, next thing you know, lights go out, and then dung, dung, dung. Hear the Wyatt music, and just Chad, backing up, and you see the dry ice smoke filling up. I'm like, no, we're not doing this again, we're not doing this again. And he keeps backing up, and he's backing up, trying to get out of there. And then next thing you know, turns around, poof, sees one member of his family, poof, sees another member of the family, and then eventually, whoosh, gets the hell out of Dodge. And then you just see Sister Abigail, or Abby the Witch, just go over, boom, drop a box again on the commentating table, and then whoosh, end of sequence, fade to black, cut the commercial. So we come back. Michael Cole again says it was another VHS tape. We'll have somebody in the production crew play it in a moment. Fast forward to later on in the show, they get it. They show the continuation of Uncle Howdy interviewing Bo. And this comes off very nice and very good. Very horror movie-esque, like, in the sense of Bo's arguing with himself in that way. And I absolutely fucking loved it. Because he was saying that, you know, I'm not special. In order to say I'm special, that means everyone else would need to be less than, different. And you know, they're not different. They were all just forgotten. They came to me. And we're going to, I am the voice, and then Bo, ending with Bo saying, I'm the voice of the Redeemer. And Uncle Howdy just saying, I am the Redeemer. And then showing a weird kind of like altered state, like face melding. Like that, and just like, ooh, okay, this is showing us where this character's going. Yeah. I am all for this. And personally, I'm going to say this right now. I do not want the Wyatt Six anywhere near the titles. Near any kind of championship. For at least, let's just say for the hell of it, I don't know on how long this story is going to go. Let's just throw a wild curveball and say for over a year. I don't want them going after any kind of championship or a title for at least 8 to 9 months out of that time frame. And yeah, because just no, have them just be pure chaos, uncontrolled, unnatural chaos, just being a random black hole appearing out of nowhere and destroying everything in its vicinity. Just, yeah, that's what I want. So with that said, now let's get into the first match of the night. Xavier Woods versus Karrion Kross. These two finally getting a chance to go one-on-one. Now, nice field at the start. You know, it felt more like it was a legit fight. And I'm not talking based off the moveset, it just the way they were both going at each other, it just had that sense of realism to it, like, ooh, these guys are really slugging. Like, it didn't look like they were throwing live rounds, but just the tension that they both carried with each other, if that makes sense, you know? Like when you're watching a movie and you see two guys fighting in a movie, you're like you could tell if it's a movie fight or if it looked like, ooh, that looks like a real fight. Yeah, this looked like a real fight. Now, as the match went on, Kross wound up leading the pace, and Woods actually wound up getting the win because he wound up, Kross, he was so leading the pace, so full of himself, this, that, and the other. Woods wound up doing that quick roll-up under Woods finish that he's got. Excuse me, that Pat McAfee named the Underwood. Afterwards, AOP wound up doing a beatdown on Kofi and Woods. So, yeah. That's unfortunate, but it was cool to see. It's cool to see Kross getting TV time as well as a chance to flush out his character. Next up, we got Women's World Championship action. Zelina Vega going against Liv Morgan, and wow. Whew, needed some heart pills. Yeah, nice action. You know, if anything, I was really impressed with a lot of the footwork Zelina was doing. Like, she was showing a lot of good striking with her foot, with her kicking, taking a page out of her hubby's book, using her foot to help prop somebody up, and then going for kicks. You know, taking a page out of Johnny's book and sweeping the leg. And just, I dug the action in this. And, you know, Zelina Vega, she is extremely, in my humble opinion, underappreciated in the sense of the girl can go. I don't see why she hasn't gotten a world title yet. I know she was Queen of the Ring. I know she was a tag champ. But honestly, I personally feel like she should have should have a women's championship under her resume. You know, that's just me though. Now, at one point, Dom came down to ringside because, you know, he was going to go and take care of Liv for Zelina. And then Ray came down because Dom's there. And, well, we know on how those two get to go well with each other. And we'll get to them two in a bit. But at one point, though, Liv, she winds up getting knocked out. At one point, Liv's knocked down on the outside. Dom's in front of her, like, you know, could. Like, thinking about doing it for Zelina, and then Zelina goes, boom, pops a sliding drop kick onto Dom, and then Dom lands on top of Liv Morgan, missionary style, and the whole time, Dom's just like, kind of have this surprised look on his face, like, how did I get here? And the whole time, Liv's just kind of holding on to him like, oh, no, you don't get to get off. You don't get off until I do. She's got this look on her face like, you don't get off until I do. And it's just like, wow. Okay. You know, I wasn't a big fan of Liv Morgan before. I mean, she was decent, but just kind of just felt neither fish nor fowl to me. And I gotta tell you, this crazy, I'm a fuck up everything in your life, and I'm gonna start by fucking your man kind of character. I kind of dig it. Yeah. But then she eventually lets him get off, and then gets back in the ring, does some action, and as the match goes on, how it comes to an end, Liv and Zelina, she winds up hitting a 619 and a DDT. She winds up hitting a 619 and a DDT onto Liv. Goes for the pin, 1-2, kick out. Tries for another pin, 1-2, kick out. Dom then, boosh, slides in a chair. Liv then gets the chair, look. Wham! Cracks Dominik with the chair. And then as she does that, then she starts berating him. Turns around, Liv then gets up, boom, hits the Oblivion for the 1-2-3. So next up we got the last women's Money in the Bank qualifying match. Dakota Kai, Zoey Stark, and Ivy Nile. Heart pills. Yeah. Gotta say, a lot of back-to-back-to-back action, like everyone was going at each other. And Ivy, I gotta say, was the MVP of this match because she was putting out the most offense. You know? And at one point, she was literally, you could see her working one person, turning her head to make sure she had her head on her swivel, was literally turning her head so that way, as she's punching one person, throwing out a sidekick to another, like, oh, nice. Excuse me. And yeah, I dug this. I thought this was probably one of the better women's triple threat matches that they did for the Money in the Bank yet. So, match came to an end when she came down to go run some interference, to go and help Dakota. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire wound up beating the crap out of Kairi because of it. And that Dakota, she sees it, she's getting sidetracked off that, which then Ivy takes out Dakota, which then gives Zoey enough time to get her bearings. Ivy turns around, next thing you know, Zoey winds up popping her, and then boom, hits her with the Z360 for the 1-2-3. That is it. So your winner and going to Money in the Bank, Zoey Stark. Next up, we got Rey Mysterio going against Dominik now, and this is an old rehash from WrestleMania, and I gotta tell you, I was not disappointed. I know normally WrestleMania rematches are not as good as the Mania match themselves. And I'm not saying this was by any means a stretch. But man, this could hold up. This held up good for TV. For a high quality TV match. I dug it. And by high quality, I'm talking story, because it's still father-son. It is a tale as old as time itself. Can you really, really argue with that kind of reasoning? I ask you. You know? Had a nice start with Ray leading into the commercial break, Dom leading into the post break, and Liv and Zelina actually wind up getting out there and tussling for a bit because of all this action, as well as from earlier. And at one point, Dom, he's up, climbing up to the top. Liv gets on the apron, cheering him on, yeah, this, that, and the other. Next thing you know, Zelina, she goes, pulls Liv down, and when she does, she grabs a rope, which then makes Dom, boom, split the difference, fall over, which then gives Ray the opportunity to go and dial it up and hit a 619. So your winner is Rey Mysterio. So yeah, good match. I dug it. So now we come to main event match of the night. Drew McIntyre versus Ilja Dragunov versus Jimmy. We got Sheamus in there. And okay, I've said before, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. It's like watching a fight out of The Quiet Man. Well, let's just throw Ilja Dragunov in there, and guess what? He fits in like a fucking glove. Because this match starts out with Ilja pretty much going Super Saiyan and Berserk on both guys, hitting up, taking out Drew, getting him to the outside, and then Sheamus is like, all right, you want to go? And then starts popping off at him and then starts hitting him, and then Sheamus, you watch this match, you see it, it's quick little, like, maybe a 1.5 second moment, but you see the look on Jimmy's face, and he's got this look like, oh, we're fighting tonight. Like, oh shit, you just got an angry Irishman getting a happy look on his face in the middle of at the start of a fight. Depending on who you are, that's either a really good thing or a really bad thing. Yeah. And it just, wow, this was good, really physical. And I loved it. I fucking loved it. It was a great match. Now, it was really just, it was just mad fighting. That's really the best way I could describe it. And solid banger of a match, man. Just wow. Now the match came to an end when Drew wound up taking out Ilja. He got knocked out and over by the timekeeper's area. Then he got into the ring, and it was just that look and that stare down between him and Jimmy, and it was, so we doing this? Yeah, we're really doing this. And you heard the crowd going nuts for it, like, yeah, going nuts, popping for it. So they start going at it. They tussle for a little bit. And just as Sheamus is sizing up, charging for a Claymore, Drew, boom! Sheamus going for a brogue, I should say. That's when Drew pops him with the Claymore for the 1, 2, 3. So your winner and going to Money in the Bank, Drew McIntyre. And like I said, while I wouldn't mind if Drew won Money in the Bank. I do not see him winning it though, because I see the smart money being on Drew versus CM Punk at SummerSlam. But I also have been wrong way more than I care to admit ever since VKM stepped down. So, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? So, yeah, I would say the smart money's on Jimmy, but don't be afraid to place a bet on a wild horse. So, with that said, folks, that is it for this week's show. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the video, go back, watch some of the other episodes. If you're listening to this on the RSS feed on Spotify, like the video, share it, leave us a 5-star review. If you're subbing to it, remember, like I said, on YouTube, subscribe. Let me know on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at TimVicious. Also, folks, do not forget the thank you to LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship, supporter of the show. A little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, a lot of attractive women. We're a little bit of nothing. Thank you. Check out whatamaneuver.net for some vicious rants apparel. We got t-shirts, tanks, long sleeves, toddler tees, and baby onesies for those that have little kids. Also, folks, don't forget to check out these cats on Twitter. DSB_IV main event _net. Sergeant Curry Pants 3 Count Thursday. D Dryer 1986. Like I always tell you, you love me great, you hate me.
And sit down.
Fuck you.